Hello students, in today's class we'll study about the family Rubiaceae. Rubiaceae is also known as the madder or coffee or bedstraw family. As you can see from this picture, the various transformational changes of how a coffee flower is getting converted into coffee powder. And coming to the systematic position, according to Bentham and Hooker's system of classification, the family Rubiaceae is placed under the class Dicotyledons, subclass Polypetalae, series Inferae, order Rubiales, and family Rubiaceae. This is a recent classification of Rubiaceae, which is according to APG4 Angiosperm Phylogeny Group 4 system, which was proposed in 2016. According to this, the family comes under the clade Eudicots, clade Asterids, order Gentianales, and family Rubiaceae. Going on to study the distribution of Rubiaceae, as I've already told you, it is commonly known as madder or coffee or bedstraw family, and it is the fourth largest family of angiosperms, containing over 13,000 species, of which many of them are significantly important, such as you have the coffee plant, Coffea, cinchona, which is the source of anti-malarial drug, that is quinine, and many ornamental plants like gardenia, musanda, etc. In India, Rubiaceae family is represented by approximately 76 to 113 genera and roughly 550 to 760 species, and this is cited by BSI, which is the Botanical Survey of India. And the distribution is mostly tropical, subtropical, and temperate regions. Now let us see some of the common plants of the family using pictures. The first one is Oldenlandia umbellata, which is a very small plant usually found on the roadsides and also in grass lawns. This is Rubia cordifolia, and the family gets its name as Rubiaceae because of the red dye which is obtained from the roots of this Rubia cordifolia, and it is of commercial significance. This is the well-known plant Ixora coccinea, which you would have all seen in most of the gardens, and it comes in various colors, and the present one is red in color. Also you have various shades of pink also in this Ixora. This is Musanda frondosa. The wild variety usually comes with a prominent white color sepal. This is actually the sepal modification, the white color structure which you see. The actual flowers are orange in color, and the white structure makes the plant more attractive. This is the cultivated species of Musanda, which you normally come across in many parks and gardens, and this is usually comes in shades of pink and red. This is coffee plant. As you can see, the berries are scarlet red and makes the plant very attractive. The flower in this plant is white in color. This is Cinchona officinalis. These are the flowers in close-up view. As you can see, the flowers are baby pink in color, and typical shape is funnel shaped. As I mentioned earlier, Cinchona officinalis, the bark of this plant, it is the source of quinine, which is an alkaloid from which anti-malarial drug is made. This is the usual Hemilia petens or the firebush plant. It is also an ornamental plant, and it gets its name as the flowers are scarlet red in color, and it seems as if the bush is on fire. This is Gardenia jasminoides, and the flowers resemble a jasmine flower, and hence the species name is given as jasminoides. This is Galium asperifolium. This is a more close-up view of the plant showing the star-shaped flowers. This is another highly medicinal plant of Rubiaceae known as Morinda citrifolia, the Indian mulberry or the noni or the nuna. The fruits are highly medicinal and is known to have anti-cancer properties. This is a fruit in closer view and flowers also in closer view. Again, Pentas lanceolata is another ornamental plant of Rubiaceae. Apart from herbs and shrubs, you can also find tree species in Rubiaceae, and Adena cordifolia is one among them. It is a huge tree, and this is the inflorescence of this tree, and the inflorescence here is slightly different. It is a compound head. Anotis foetida is another plant of Rubiaceae. The name foetida signifies that it has a foul smelling plant. And this is a very interesting plant, Psychotria elata. Usually you find this plant only in dense tropical equatorial forest, and as you can see, it resembles a lady's lip wearing lipstick, and it is commonly known as hot lips or hooker's lips. Actually, what you see is the brightly colored red bract of the flower, and once the flowers come out, they are usually white in color, and here you can see the flowers pushing its way out of the bract. And finally, you can see the flower fully exposed. This is another tree species, Gatada speciosa, Pannir Maram, which is a sthala vriksha in most of the temples in South India. This is again a closer view of its flower and fruits. Myrmicodia beccari. It is an interesting plant of Rubiaceae where it shows symbiotic association with ants, and hence the name Myrmicodia. Commonly it is referred to as the ant house plant. This picture shows the closer view of the flowers of Myrmicodia, and this is again the fruit, which is a red berry in Myrmicodia. Spermocos hispida is another common plant which is often found on the roadsides. Very small in size. As you can see, the size of the plant when a person is holding it in his hands. This is Mitragyna parviflora. As you can see, the inflorescence of this plant resembles a pin cushion, and hence the name pin cushion tree. Now let us move on to the diagnostic characters of Rubiaceae. All these are the diagnostic characters of Rubiaceae which serve as the identifying features of this family. So first one is opposite decussate leaves. The leaves usually have an entire margin, and stipules in Rubiaceae are a diagnostic feature where you can see mostly interpetiolar or intrapetiolar stipules, and coleters, which are specialized glands on stipules, are found in some members of Rubiaceae. The typical inflorescence in most cases is a cymose inflorescence. The flowers are usually bisexual, tetramerous or pentamerous, actinomorphic, star-shaped and epigynous. Gamopetalous condition is also a noteworthy feature of Rubiaceae. Epipetalous stamens are also an important character of Rubiaceae. The ovary is usually inferior, bilocular, with ovules in axile placentation. The style is usually simple with a bifid or bilobed stigma. The fruit is a capsule or a berry. Now let us look into each of the characters in detail. So let us start with vegetative characters. So the habit in most cases is they may be herbs, shrubs or trees, and I have given two examples for each category. Herbs, Galium and Rubia; shrubs, Ixora, Musanda; trees, Morinda and Adena. The root, as you all know, since it is a dicot, the root system is a tap root system which is highly branched. The stem in woody species is woody in nature, whereas in herbaceous species it is herbaceous, and normally it is cylindrical or angular with a hairy or smooth surface. Also, you have twiner species and climber species in Rubiaceae. I have mentioned the names of two. Here you can see the picture of Menetia, which is a twiner in Rubiaceae. Here the stem coils around the support. In Uncaria, you can see specialized structures, the hooks, with the help of which the plant climbs on to its support. The leaves, in most cases, you can see simple leaves. The arrangement or the phyllotaxy is opposite decussate. The leaves usually have an entire margin, and stipules are a characteristic feature, and with venation pattern is pinnately reticulate. Stipules are mostly inter or intrapetiolar. Sometimes they may be bristle-like as in Pentas and leafy in nature as in Rubia. You can see the picture. This picture shows the interpetiolar stipules in Ixora. The stipules of the opposite leaves fused in the lateral sides of the stem to form a leafy structure. Here you can see intrapetiolar stipules. The example is gardenia, where the stipules of the same leaf fuse together to form a leafy structure which exists in between the petiole and the stem. These are the bristle-like stipules which you come across in Pentas species. These are the leafy stipules of Rubia cordifolia. Now let us study the floral characters of this family. The inflorescence is mostly cymose. The position may be axillary or terminal. Axillary cyme you can see in Coffea arabica. Terminal cyme you come across in Musanda. And sometimes the flower is solitary as in gardenia. Sometimes it is a globose head as in Adena, which I already showed you the picture. It is a tree species of Rubiaceae. Flowers, the flower is usually bisexual. It is complete, regular, actinomorphic, tetra or pentamerous, cyclic, star-shaped, and it is variously colored. And because of the presence of inferior ovary, the flowers are mostly epigynous. Calyx is normally composed of 4 or 5 sepals, gamosepalous. In Musanda, you can see one sepal getting modified into a colored bract-like structure which attracts the insects for pollination. And estivation is usually valvate, where the margins of the sepals touch each other without showing any form of overlapping. The corolla is usually composed of 4 or 5 petals, and gamopetalous as it comes under the subclass Gamopetalae. Shape is usually funnel shaped or tubular. Funnel shaped you come across in Asperula, and tubular you can see in Ixora. The estivation may be varied, ranging from valvate to twisted or imbricate. The androecium is composed of 4 or 5 stamens. Rarely you see many stamens. As you see in this picture, there are 6 stamens. This is in the plant Gardenia, and usually the condition of the stamens is epipetalous. and alternate petalis, since it alternates with the petals, inserted near the mouth of the corolla tube. Stamens are diathecous, facing inwards, that is intros, and usually showing longitudinal dehiscence. Gynoecium. The ovary here is inferior in condition, bicarpellary, syncarpous, bilocular with one to many ovules in each loculus on axile placentation. The style is simple and stigma is bilobed. Fruit is usually a capsule as in anotis, or sometimes it is a berry as in coffea. The seeds are endospermic, and sometimes you come across winged seeds also in Rubiaceae. The pollination is through the agency of insects, that is entomophilus, and sometimes you can see ant pollination also, that is seen in the plant Myrmecodia. This is the floral formula of the family Rubiaceae. Finally, we come across many medicinal plants, beverage plants, and ornamental plants in Rubiaceae, which makes the family of economic significance. Firstly, the bark of Cinchona officinalis yields the alkaloid known as quinine, which is an anti-malarial drug. And as you all know, the seeds of species of coffee like Coffea arabica, Coffea liberica, and Coffea robusta are roasted and ground to give coffee powder. And of course, there are many ornamental plants like Rubia, Camellia, Gardenia, Ixora, Musanda, which are all cultivated in gardens for their beautiful flowers. Thank you.